Cool, good afternoon everyone. It's been lovely to see everyone today. As I say, I'm Hilary, I'm from Big Grey PR. We are looking after all the public relations for the campaign. We've been working on this campaign since September and really from a standing start and telling lots of stories. We heard a lot this morning about storytelling. So it's our honour to be able to tell the stories about what you've all been up to and what you're doing within the area. It's also been really lovely over that period to meet so many of you and hear about all your stories, whether you've been starting up a new campsite or creating amazing pottery. Lots of different stories. It's been really interesting to hear from you all over that period of time, and then to obviously have the honour to be able to share that with the national and regional press. So talking about harnessing influential voices, why do we do that? Within PR, it obviously, one of the key things which we were talking about this morning is, it surprises me. I mean, I live in Essex, so I know Suffolk very, very well. It's somewhere I've always gone for day trips and special stays as well. But there does seem to be that area where people just haven't heard of Suffolk. So obviously with PR, it's a really good way of building a lot of awareness. If you get into a newspaper, lots of people read it. Nowadays as well, it's online, so AI is always searching for content too. So it's another great reason, because if you're doing that search, quite often you'll find that the travel piece might come up from that AI search. So really good reason. It's also third-party endorsement. Again, over lunch, a couple were telling me that they are one of the top campsites in the country because they were in one of the newspapers that told them that they were. So it's a really lovely way of getting awareness and also third-party endorsement. And everyone has that little bit of sense of excitement about it. It's like, oh, we're in the paper. It creates that excitement, it creates that buzz around everything. So that's why we do what we do. So, as you can see, we've been quite busy. We've been, from a standing start, we've been running and getting as much publicity, much content out there, really looking at getting the content out over since we started, really focusing on press trips to start the season, because obviously people are a lot freer with their accommodation spaces, so we can accommodate people a lot easier at the start of the season than we can, say, in July, August. So we've been pushing everything out, and that's just a little bit of a roundup of just some of the coverage that we've gained so far, really focusing on those national press to get that wider audience, and then also the locals as well, so that everyone is front of mind, all the different things that you can do around the area, and encouraging locals to move around and do things as well as. So trips and placements, we have a bit of a scoring system where everyone's, obviously naturally there's targets set across the campaign, but we're doing really well. We're only halfway, just over halfway through, I believe now. So if we look at the stats, we've reached about 36.7 million reach for the campaign so far. So as you can imagine, that's equated out of a lot of cuttings in a lot of really influential places. We've had 8 national press trips which have happened across the region. Each of them have looked at various different areas. We've had immense press coverage on Beccles recently. We've had a journalist come up, stay at Hipperson's Boatyard, go on a tour, absolutely fall in love with the local town and do that. And because it was with Reach, we fortunately had that then syndicated, so it then went through a number of different publications too. So it was really good return on investment, especially for the people who are really, really kind to actually put up the journalist. We do rely a lot on accommodation providers and restaurateurs to host, which does then help that PR budget go so much further. We also had The Sun just a couple of weekends ago. They stayed at the Brudenell with hotel folk, and they then had a little game of balls along the front and went to Framlingham Castle and had a really lovely just weekend break, which they're then writing up at the moment. So there's a series of these different ones we're having going on. We try to have a real share around the area so that we're kind to everyone. We share the love, is how we call it in the office. So we're really looking at different areas. We're also looking at different activities. We're also tapping into folklore, especially with Black Shuck and all the different traditional. We're trying to make this area as distinctive as we possibly can so that we can showcase why come to East Suffolk, why come to the Suffolk coast. So that's key within all of our coverage. When we look at how much that would have cost if it was for advertising, we're now reaching £350,000. So it's definitely securing and really returning on investment for you all. Here's a little bit of an overview of just some of the coverage. There's also a big board that Jake has kindly put together, so you can see a bit more about that. But we're really focusing on not just getting those news in briefs. What we really want is we want really feature-length content. So you open up, you hear a story, you find out what there is to do, and there's lots of different touch points and different ways that you can connect with the area when you're reading that. And it's all part of that storytelling. It's bringing to life all of the gather messaging, but really showcasing it, whether it's via an itinerary that the journalists went on, or through the imagery that we're sharing, or the experiences that they do. Maybe they're making bread, maybe they're picking flowers. There's lots of different things that we'll touch point on to showcase how to go from just a day trip to have a longer stay within the area. We like to go above and beyond, so we are more than on target with our amount of press trips, but what we wanted to do was also to create a fun day out for the press to come up from London for a day, and instead of having bespoke, individualised press trips, what we're doing is we're putting together a one-day trip where everyone can come and experience the area. So we've decided, because food and drink is so strong within this area, to really focus on the food and drink offering. So in June, we're meeting probably about 10 national journalists who are going to be coming out from London Liverpool Street, courtesy of Greater Anglia, coming across to Woodbridge, having some lunch, well, basically having a nice cup of coffee in Woodbridge. Then we're taking them on our little minibus, which will then take them to Aldborough. They're having a tour of the Suffolk and having some food there. Then they're going to go down to Fisher's Gin and have a tour of Fisher's, going on a foraging walk along the river to really showcase the beautiful areas, not just the sea, but also the estuaries as well in the area, foraging for botanicals. And then they're going to be having their special tea making exercise with Fisher's as well, putting that all together. While that's all going on, we're then working with a private chef, the Noble Prawn, many of you might know her. She's coming along and she's working with local meats and local fish, caught fresh, and creating some special foods for everyone to then enjoy as part of a get-together, so they can enjoy the local products, have new menus as well about what to do with those local produce too. And then we're basically having some fun. We're inviting everyone for a dip, and if we can get the sauna up, we're all going to have a sauna afterwards as well. So it's just one fun way that we're doing to entice people in, showing them what's on offer and just showcasing everything that's going on within the area. We're also working with influencers. We have a big influencer trip which we're working in collaboration, which we've heard again a lot of that word, haven't we, today? But we're working in collaboration with Restories, so with Gem. We're kind of like on WhatsApp constantly going, what about this one? How about that one? When we're looking at different influencers, and really, you know, so grateful for Gem for her help on that and her contacts as well. So it's going to be an amazing trip. Again, we're working with Greater Anglia. We're taking influencers from North London out of the area into Suffolk, having a wonderful trip where they come and experience a different side of Suffolk. Again, as some people might not know where Suffolk is, they may not have been here before. So it's a real chance to really showcase what there is to see and do. And a lot of focus on that might be on the food and drink, but also that relaxation, the more slower side of travel. So they'll have yoga sessions, they can go into the sauna, they can escape, they can go around the beautiful farm, Paradise Farm at Restories, and explore the animals as well as. So there'll be really lovely content that they can then put together and then they can share, which will then be going out at the same time as the Paid For campaign. So it all builds together so that messaging becomes very strong with the audiences that we're looking to connect with. So there is just a little bit of a roundup here about a lot of the different people who we've already touched base with. I've had lots of, our team has had lots of meetings with everyone just to really get to know you, find out what's happening, what events are taking place, what quirks there are going on, you know, and those conversations have been absolutely invaluable. I think Kelly's here today, but I think one of the really interesting stories that I've had from meeting different people is the Halesworth Ale Day. Hello, Kelly. So it was incredible. But these sorts of conversations, or the facts don't happen unless you have the conversations, and that's why it's so important to engage and share stories. So the Halesworth Ale Day is happening in June. And Kelly was just talking to me about the event, and then she said, we've got this thing called dwyle flonking taking place. And I was like, what on earth is dwyle flonking? And then she explained to me that basically, does anybody know what dwyle flonking is? Yeah. Oh, we've got definitely. Does anybody not know what dwyle flonking is? Oh yes, there's a few more, so I'll fill you in. So basically, this is an old tradition. We later found out it's actually a post-harvest ritual. And basically what people do, they get a stick, and they also get a chamber pot. They fill the chamber pot up with ale, and then they also get a rag. And so on the end of their stick, they put the rag, they dig it into the chamber pot, and they fling it at someone. If it hits their head, they get more points. If it hits their shoulder, they get less points. But who knew? But that story, I mean, that's perfect. We're all talking about storytelling, aren't we? I mean, dwyle flonking is the perfect way to tell a story of something different, something traditional, something that engages, and something that makes you think something, share, word of mouth, all of that. The storytelling within that is just perfect. And obviously perfect as well for public relations too, to get the story out there, see who else would like to have a go at dwyle flonking. So, but I'm here as well, and obviously stories are always new. I always say news is new. Sometimes, you know, that's new, but I think it's something that's really, really keen to continue that conversation. So if you have something going on, something that you think would be really valuable, please do reach out to us and then let us know, because this is an ongoing story that we need to tell the next chapter for as the campaign continues. So thanks to everybody who's already engaged, but obviously we'd love to engage with everyone and more.